Welcome to the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. Titans fans, Monday was a big day for Tennessee Titans news. First, the Titans are getting a brand new stadium. I'll give you the latest details on when it's expected to be open and what it might look like. Then we got a lot of Titans injury updates and roster moves on Monday as well. I'll update you on guys like Amani Hooker, Nate Davis, and Bud Dupree, and then talk about the Tennessee Titans cutting Josh Gordon and what it means going forward. So a big day for the Tennessee Titans, and I'm breaking it all down on today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. Let's get it.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Titans fans, it is a big day being a Tennessee Titans fan. A new stadium on the horizon for the Titans. I'm going to get into all the details. Before I do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Bird Dogs, the most comfortable shorts, pants, and sweatpants with built-in liners. Go to birddogs.com, use promo code LOCKEDON, and boom, a free Bird Dogs rope hat with your pair of Bird Dogs. Thank you guys for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first listen every day. If this is your first ever listen or you just haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you do on whatever platform you do stream. I am going to be bringing you daily, Monday through Friday, free Titans content all year round. So make sure that you stay locked in to the Locked On Titans podcast. But talking about this brand new stadium, we knew that the Titans were looking at building a new stadium because the reality is there is a legal agreement between the city of Nashville and the Tennessee Titans that the city of Nashville maintain upkeep on the current stadium, Nissan Stadium. And Nissan Stadium was built in an archaic way. Modern stadiums are built totally different with steel, not the stone that the Titans' current stadium was built with. So essentially, maintaining and renovating the Titans' current stadium would cost practically as much, I think around $1.9 billion, as building a new stadium, which is going to cost $2.2 billion. Now, for the big details, the stadium is expected to open in 2026, potentially 2027. Construction delays, things like that do happen. The money, like I said, it's $2.2 billion, but it's going to be split up between the Tennessee Titans and Amy Adams Strunk ownership making a contribution. The state making a contribution. The NFL is throwing in $200 million of their own money, and keep that detail in your head as we circle back to it. Not only that, but I know a lot of people locally are asking what it means for them. The deal that has been set up, as I have read it, taxpayers are not going to be footing the bill for this whatsoever. Now, there will be tax money used, but it's going to be a tax on motels and hotels in Nashville. So that'll be mostly getting on tourists and people who visit the city from outside. There's going to be a campus tax on the areas around the stadium, and some of the things have to do with that. So there will be some tax burden there, but taxpayer money does not seem to be a large chunk. Local taxpayer money does not seem to be a large chunk of how the Titans are going to pay for this stadium, and anything that goes over budget and some maintenance things, that's going to go towards the team. They're going to have to pay for that. So this seems like a very good economic deal for the people of Nashville. Moving forward, though, to what the stadium could potentially look like, what are some features that we've discussed? Well, Burke Nahill, the Titans, I believe he's the president of the entire organization. If I have the title wrong there, my apologies. It's not really a football-centric character, and you guys know I'm a football guy. But he mentioned in the press conference on Monday that the Titans stadium will be domed. It will be domed, and his expectation is that it looks a lot like Allegiant Stadium, the stadium just built in Las Vegas for the Raiders. Now, if you're watching on YouTube right now, I have a picture of what the top of Allegiant Stadium looks like. And Burke Nahill mentioned that it was going to have almost a translucent feel to the roof. They said they want to let in as much natural daylight as possible. So once again, for the people on YouTube, that's what the stadium looks like on top. It is a bit translucent, almost see-through on the top, even though it's domed. Also, do want to mention that he mentioned the interior should have a lot of elements of Allegiant Stadium. You can see on the screen on YouTube right now, there's a big window on both sides of the end zone that allows in natural light. So that's something that they want to talk about. But they did say that the stadium isn't going to be a carbon copy of Allegiant Stadium. They're going to have a lot of unique features. And he talked, Burton Hill, about the architecture of the stadium, how it feels. He said it's going to have a lot of Nashville character. They're not looking to compete with SoFi Stadium that was just built in Los Angeles, some of the newer, bigger facilities that are made. It's not going to be this huge, massive stadium like some of these others with huge seating capacities and stuff like that. It's going to be modern. It's going to be elevated. It's going to be something that they want to last for 50 to 70 years in Nashville. But it is going to have that Nashville character to the architecture on the outside. So it's not going to be this behemoth like you see in Atlanta or exactly like Vegas or SoFi Stadium. One thing people were a little bit concerned about is the capacity. Burton Hill mentioned that the capacity is going to be about 55,000 to 60,000 seats. That would make it, off the top of my head, I believe the smallest stadium in the NFL in capacity. But back to that note I mentioned earlier. The NFL is kicking in $200 million of their own money to get this stadium built. The Titans crushed it when they had the draft in Nashville. Nashville is one of the fastest growing cities in the entire country. Burton Hill said that he's been assured that despite a low seating capacity, around 60,000, the NFL is bringing Super Bowls to Nashville. The new stadium will house Super Bowls, Final Fours, college football playoffs, WrestleMania, country music concerts, concerts of all kinds, different events, this World Cup stuff, potentially international events, things like that, all going to be possible. So while this is big Tennessee Titans news, and it absolutely does elevate the brand of the Tennessee Titans, the reality is this is Nashville news. This move is going to have major effects on the economy of the city of Nashville, far-reaching past the impact on the Tennessee Titans football team. Yes, this is big Titans news, but again, for the city of Nashville and potentially the state of Tennessee, this is big news. So good times to be a civilian, a citizen of the state of Tennessee, a beautiful state, if I do say so myself, even if I'm not a resident of the state. But moving forward, past the stadium, we do need to talk about Tennessee Titans news. We got a ton of roster news. We got a ton of injury updates. Before we get into them, though, do want to tell you about our title sponsor, Bird Dogs. So, guys, listen, I could not be more sincere about this. Bird Dogs, I got a pair of joggers. I got a pair of shorts, and my God, my girlfriend literally made me take off the shorts. I wore them for about 24 hours straight. It's getting cold here. I didn't care. I love the shorts. And then she reminded me, you have a fantastic pair of joggers as well. And guys, I don't know about you, but I'm a golfer, and I can't think of better golf pants to wear during the fall than the Bird Dogs joggers. And not only that, but they just released sweatpants. Super comfortable. They're like cute little Charmin bears rubbing against your thighs. Oh, God. You know that comfy little bear family, you're going to feel exactly like they do in your Bird Dog sweatpants. They're higher quality than Lululemon and $20 less. So what are we really talking about here, guys? Go out and get some Bird Dogs. And if you go to birddogs.com and you enter the promo code Locked On, they'll throw a free Bird Dogs rope hat into the mix. So that's birddogs.com, promo code Locked On, boom. Free Bird Dogs rope hat with your pair of Bird Dogs, the most comfortable shorts, pants, and sweatpants with built-in liners. You will not take these things off, I promise you. Well, at least until your significant other forces you to do so. But go check out birddogs.com, promo code Locked On right now. Also, do want to tell you guys about LinkedIn. LinkedIn and Locked On have a great partnership going on right now. LinkedIn is the best place to post your job, period. There's 810 million people in the LinkedIn network. They give you simple tools like screening questions to make sure that you're hiring and prioritizing the correct candidates at all times. Your small business doesn't have time to wait around and go through a bunch of different candidates who don't have the experience or the qualifications that you're looking for. That's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus the leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedon NFL. That's linkedin.com/lockedon NFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Titans fans, we have roster news, injury updates, roster moves to talk about. Big day for the Tennessee Titans. We just talked about the brand new stadium and the details that we have there. Let's keep this thing rolling. Before we do, want to thank you guys for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first listen every day. Remember, Monday through Friday, free Tennessee Titans content. It's your team every day here on the Locked On Titans podcast. Check out the NFL Key Predictions show on the Locked On NFL YouTube channel every single Friday. You get the keys to victory for some of the biggest matchups in the NFL for both the NFC and the AFC. Check out the NFL Key Predictions show on the Locked On NFL podcast feed or YouTube channel. But moving forward here, first, Ola Adeniyi to IR. It's unfortunate. He's missed 3 games already. Now he's going to miss 4 games at minimum, especially with the depth issues that the Titans are having at edge. They could certainly use him not only on special teams where he should have been a Pro Bowler last year, but they could have used him as an edge rusher. Still a productive guy, although he's a depth piece, still incredibly necessary to have Ola Adeniyi out there after losing Harold Landry. So to not have him, it's been tough. And the Titans have had to get away from some of the stuff that they really like to do with Harold Landry, having him as an overhang defender in nickel situations, covering the slot as a stand-up, off-ball stack linebacker. Well, they tried to do some of that with various guys, Derek Tuska at times. They tried to do that with Joe Schober a little bit throughout the year, and they just don't have the guy to do that. Ola can do it a little bit. So to have him gone for at minimum 7 games this season, definitely tough for the Titans, but they are managing. But again, Ola Adeniyi to IR. That makes 12 players on injured reserve for the Titans. With Harold Landry and Taylor Lewan being 2 of them, so much of the Titans salary cap is on IR right now. Disgusting amount of money on IR. Just crazy. So hopefully Ola can get healthy soon, but he's got 4 games, 4 weeks to figure that out. So Ola Adeniyi to IR. But on the other side of things, from a good news standpoint with the edge rushers, Bud Dupree should practice this week. And dear God, do they need him to play? This is going to be Bud Dupree's last season in Tennessee. I said that since the moment he was signed. It would only be a 2-year deal. That's looking even more clear than it ever was before. And I have receipts of people telling me I'm dumb, stupid, crazy, whatever, for thinking Bud would be cut after the season. Why in the world would you say something like that? I'm sorry. You guys always want to point out when I get stuff wrong. I'm going to be the first one to point out when I get stuff right. Someone's got to do it, okay? And Bud Dupree, although I have that sentiment, I say all that to say this, as I've said all season, it may have been a terrible contract, but they need him because he is just a capable NFL starting edge rusher. He is an NFL starting edge rusher. An overpaid one, but he is one nonetheless. And the Titans need that desperately right now. So, dear God, Bud Dupree, please play. Please. The Titans need you to be worth some of that money at some point this year. Please, God, play. And last time he played the Colts, he recovered a fumble. So, boom. Maybe he has another good game. Outside of that, Amani Hooker and Nate Davis should be back at practice. That's not confirmed, but that is the expectation right now. So that's good news. All these injury guys the Titans needed, getting some of them back at practice, that's the first step. Sadly, I have some bad news as well. Looks like Racey McMath is not going to be back anytime soon. Anytime soon. Mike Vrabel even said he doesn't know if he's going to be back this season. So there was a roster move that happened early this morning that I'm going to discuss at the end of the show. And everybody was like, oh, that should be good news for Racey McMath. Oh, no, it's not. Sadly, no, it's not. We got bad news on Racey McMath. Also, no Elijah Molden. Mike Vrabel said, do not expect any practice windows to be open for guys on injured reserve that haven't been opened already. So that means Racey McMath, Elijah Molden, not coming back this week, which you want this team to just be healthy for just one simple stretch of games and just to see what it could look like. Like, I have been pumping the brakes on Racey McMath since training camp. Everybody thinking that he's going to be something, important. Just pump the brakes on it. But I still want to see the guy play. Let's find out. Maybe I'll be wrong. That would be great. And they need a deep threat so bad. So to have a 6'2" guy with 4.4 speed, it would just be critical. You could, instead of Cody Hollister, we could have Racey McMath. And I'm willing to see what that looks like. I'm desperate to see what that looks like, quite frankly. Elijah Molden, again, getting Ugo Amadi back kind of helps deal with that. I think that's why the Titans traded for Ugo Amadi, because they knew that Elijah Molden's injury wouldn't expect to have him back anytime in the beginning of the season. But I'm just a really big fan of Molden in the way that he plays, and it's unfortunate that I don't get to watch him play. Especially his best moment last year came against Indy probably. So be nice to see him go out there and make more plays again. But either way, that's the biggest news of the day. Ola to IR, Bud, Amani, Nate to practice. Elijah Molden, Racey McMath not coming back off IR this week. But there were other moves. The Titans cut a player, and there was a lot to say about that. They added a player to the practice squad, and with Ola Adeniyi going on IR, they added another player to the 53-man roster. So we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Before we get into it, though, do want to tell you guys a little bit more about PrizePicks. PrizePicks is daily fantasy football made easy. It's made simple. It's the way, quite frankly, that it's supposed to be. So PrizePicks has a projection for every player. Think Derrick Henry, 95 rushing yards. Ryan Tannehill, 2 touchdowns. Robert Woods, 3 catches. All you do is you pick 2 to 5 players, you look at their projection, and you say whether it's going to be more or it's going to be less. And if you get it right, you can win 10 times your money on your entry. And right now, if you go to prizepicks.com or you download the PrizePicks app, which is probably more logical, all you have to do is sign up and use the promo code Locked On. You're going to get a 100% deposit match up to $100. So you go to PrizePicks app, you sign up, you put in promo code Locked On, you deposit $100, you get a free $100. You deposit $50, you get a free $50. So make sure that you go to prizepicks.com. Once again, use the promo code Locked On for a 100% deposit match up to $100 for first-time users. Titans fans, it is time to continue and cap off today's show. We talked about the Titans' new stadium, all the details there, some of the more important roster news and updates that we got on Monday, but we got more roster news and we got more updates, but they kind of lead me into a bit of an impromptu Roland's rant, you could say, because of the way that the team is handling it. So, first and foremost, Josh Gordon was cut by the Titans on Monday. And Mike Vrabel said in his press conference on Monday that they gave him an opportunity and they just wanted to see somebody else. Well, I guess I just question how much of an opportunity the Titans really gave him. He appeared in 2 games. And we don't know stuff behind the scenes, but I don't remember Gordon getting a target. I don't think that he was ever used in a meaningful way. We never saw him out snap anybody else that we've been wanting Josh Gordon to get a chance over. I mean, he played 24 snaps. He got 18 against Buffalo in a game that was a complete wash. He got 6 snaps against the Raiders. After that, we never saw him again. So I just want to say this. I know that Josh Gordon isn't Josh Gordon that we think of in our heads. I know that. But you cannot tell me that Josh Gordon isn't a better football player right now than Cody Hollister. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that Josh Gordon isn't a better football player right now than Des Fitzpatrick. Like, I just won't hear it. I just don't believe you if that's what you're selling to me. And it just goes back, and I also want to mention that he who must not be named had a pretty dang good game on Monday night. Got utilized in some cool ways, made some plays. And I'm just so annoyed by the way the Titans view wide receiver. I get a lot of people talking about he who must not be named. Well, the Titans don't use wide receivers like that anyway, so you don't overpay. Well, how about you get good players and change the way you play then? If the way that you play means you want less talented players, then you got to change that. It's like the Titans only played modern football for 2 years while Arthur Smith is here. That's what it feels like. And I just want to think about this. On a scale of 1 to 10, let's say there's talent and there's knowing the playbook, knowing all different positions, all of that. My question to you is, if a player is a 10 out of 10 knowing the playbook, they know the playbook perfectly, they know every spot up and down, never make a mental mistake ever. How low do you drop in talent before that knowledge is not worth it anymore? Like, if a player is at a talent level of 3 out of 10 and their playbook knowledge is a 10 out of 10, is that still a productive player? Because I would argue it's not. I am Tyler Rowland, host of the Locked On Titans podcast. I could know the Titans playbook in every single spot on offense by heart, to my core. With my eyes closed, I could run the routes. But I'm 5'5". I ran a 4.8 40. It does not matter how much I know the playbook. I'm a slow midget. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, Cody Hollister's like 6'3" and a prime athlete, all things considered. But like Des Fitzpatrick, Cody Hollister, the guy that the Titans added to the practice squad in lieu of Josh Gordon, CJ Board. Like, I don't care how much they know the offense if they're not talented enough to help when they know what they're doing. Cody Hollister was the second worst graded blocker on the entire offense last game against the Commanders. With that crap show that was the blocking against the Commanders, Cody Hollister was the second worst, or worse. Him and Nick Westbrook-Ikhine were both sub 45, the worst blockers in run blocking the entire day for the Titans. So I don't care how much Cody Hollister knows the playbook if that's what he's going to give you on the field. At some point, a guy who knows the playbook not as well, but is just a more talented football player, is going to be the better option. You can decide where on the 1 to 10 talent scale that you come in and say, okay, the playbook knowledge isn't worth it anymore. But I'm at about a Cody Hollister. Other than that, like I said, Josh Gordon cut from the practice squad. CJ Board, wide receiver, added to the practice squad. The Titans also added safety Josh Thompson, who was on the Jaguars practice squad, to their 53-man roster. John Robinson and Mike Vrabel just addicted to churning through safeties this year. And all I know is I hope it's not a bad sign for Amani Hooker. Because, dear God, the Titans got bludgeoned over the middle of the field by tight ends against the Colts. And with the Colts kind of finding their groove in the passing game, this is not the time for the Titans to not have Amani Hooker out there next to Kevin Byard. So let us pray. Tomorrow, I want to dive into something that we heard from Mike Vrabel on Monday, saying that during the bye week, it was a chance to assess who needs to play less and who deserves to play more. I'm going to go over some guys that I think deserve to play less and deserve to play more, and I'll also throw in some scouting notes on the Colts going into this next matchup as well, since it is, after all, Rewatch Wednesday. But that's going to do it for me today, folks. As always, I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and this was Locked On Titans.